this video, we'll be talking about the lens that's on my A5100 right now. That's the Meike 35mm f1.7. I bought it brand new for only 50 USD, which is a steal for such an amazing lens. Now, it's only amazing if you're doing what I'm doing here. For actual photography, it's fine, it's okay, but not professionally. If you're streaming or making YouTube videos though, I think this is amazing, especially if you look at the Twitch compressions or YouTube compressions, you can't see any of the issues. So in this video, I won't be talking about the corner sharpness, chromatic aberrations, those things. Those aren't important for people like us making videos in their basements. If you're an actual photographer that's getting paid to do stuff, don't get the lens, get you're gonna use an actual setup. So this video is not for you, but for the people that's just making videos or streaming onto Twitch, this is an amazing lens that's really cheap and rivals a lot of the more expensive lenses. So the A5100 uses a aps-c sensor and it's E-mount compatible, which is what this lens is. The A5100 is really common nowadays for streaming, and the most common lens for the A5100 is the Sigma 16mm f1.8. The f-stop is just representing how blurry the background is, and the millimeter represents how zoomed in the lens is. So this is 35 millimeters, which means it's more narrow, the field of view. So the field of view is more narrow. It's like when you go into a game and you change your FOV to a really low number. But the 16 millimeter actually means a wider field of view. So that's how the conversions work. So with this lens, right now I'm about 1.5 meters away, and this is what it looks like. So for streaming, you have to put the camera just a bit further away. With the 16 millimeter, you can leave it a lot closer and it'll be good. So the f1.7 on this lens is very similar to the f1.8 on the Sigma. However, the biggest downside of getting this lens is that it's manual focus. So with the Sigma, it's autofocus and it has amazing autofocus. However, with the Sigma, it also comes with the more expensive autofocus. So here, if I move out of the way like this, I'm out of focus. If I lean in just a bit more, I'm out of focus. So you have to really set where the focus is, and you can't move that much. Like, sure, I can turn around, do this, I would still be in focus, I can move just a bit, but the more I move, the more blurry I would get. And that's amplified by the really wide aperture of the f1.7 that this lens has. So the background is quite blurry, and it gets more blurry the more I get closer to the camera and set the focus. So right now my hand is out of focus. I have to move it to where my face is because I set it this way. You can't really move it that much. However, for such a cheap lens, for only 50 bucks, I think that's something you can live with instead of spending $300, $400 on the Sigma 1.8. So that really is the biggest downside. Now, if you're not making videos or streaming, well, first of all, why are you still here? But second, even if you stream or make videos, I think sometimes, say your friends or family members says, oh, please come and take some photos. You can take amazing photos with this lens. That's just amazing as in amateur photos. If you're a professional, it's not going to be so amazing. So here are a few photos I took when I biked to downtown Kitchener. You can see it does really great in the low light in this bus photo of me. This is just a random bus stop that I sat in, a bus station, sorry. And that's just the light from the bus station. I think it looks amazing. It's much better compared to an iPhone or Samsung phone. Like, there's no doubt that a camera with this lens would look better than a tiny Ace camera on a phone. I'm sorry, I know phone photography is amazing, but just there's no way for you to get that wide of an aperture on a phone than with that. And here, let's look at a different photo. Here, in this photo with my friend playing with the yo-yo, you can see that the yo-yo isn't blurry at all and it's in midair. So that's because I set the shutter speed to about 2000. And I could do that because the aperture is so wide that in bright daylight I can change the shutter speed to whatever, which the higher shutter speed means the photo will get darker. But with the high aperture, I'm letting in more light, which compensates for that. So even if you're an amateur at photography, you can easily learn how to use the manual lens and take amazing photos. For example, here, look at this one with my friends sitting together. You can see the background is really blurry. That's because of the shallow depth of field. And it looks quite cinematic. So it doesn't matter what you're doing with the lens. Anything you do, it's gonna take good photos. At the end of the video, I'll show a few more photos. So if you are interested, keep watching. That aside, there are other alternatives too. For example, if you've got the Sony a5100 with the kit lens, which is literally the same size as that lens right here. This is the kit lens. I can show a B-roll. It's 16 to 50 millimeters. However, the downside is that the f-stop starts at 3.5, which gives a sharper background, which is not something you want. It doesn't look that good, honestly, especially for streaming, where the focus is on you, so you want you to be in focus and nothing else. It takes pretty videos, pretty photos, but for streaming, this isn't it. However, you can get away with this just by sitting close to it and using the 16 millimeters. So this is really wide. It gives that wide angle approach in your videos. I can show some shots with this right here. So from my experiences, this isn't that good, but you can definitely get away with it. If you want to save that $50 or you can't find this lens for $50, I think there's another lens that's 28 millimeters f1.8. That's by Neewer, I believe, and you can buy that for about $100. And that's also amazing. 28 millimeters is a lot better than 35 because it's less narrow, so you can sit closer to the camera without it being bad. One last alternative is actually this lens right here on my beast of a camera. This one. This is the Sony full frame 3.5 f3.5 to 5.6, 28 to 70 millimeters. It's a zoom lens, and it's fine. As you can see, the f-stop, with the f-stop being only 3.5, it's not that. I'm sorry, why can't I insert this? With the f-stop being only 3.5, it's not that good. You usually want the depth of field to be a bit better, but this is still a great lens because it's quite common on the market, especially in the used ones, where you can get it for $250, and it's quite versatile. It takes amazing photos and videos. If you want to be hired as a wedding photographer, this is a great lens for that. It's a zoom lens, it has amazing autofocus, and it's stabilized, and the lowest it can go to is 28 millimeters, which means you have to put the camera about a meter away from you for the optimum shots. So based on what my experiences are, this is a great lens for filming too. This is the lens I actually used for all of my videos before I bought that lens. It's autofocused, all of that, it's amazing. But the cheapest option is still the Meike 35mm f1.7. So if you're interested, you can use the link in the description down below to buy that lens. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm really interested in camera gear, and that's like my hobby now. It's very expensive, but yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I can try my best to answer them. And if I made a mistake in this video, be sure to correct me if you want. If you don't, you can just press the dislike button. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was informative. If it is, leave a like. And that's about it, really. Leave a comment, click something on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.